Well, hello, beautiful souls. Here we are again. Thank you for coming by and spending some time with me on my channel. And if you are new, welcome to my channel. My name is Vontia Boers. I was first introduced to the concept of a new earth in 1987. When that was the time of my awakening, and I was awakened by an unseen force that just, downloaded things into my mind and into my cognitive awareness, who then declared themselves and introduced themselves telepathically as the Council of 12. And they've guided me ever since. So this morning they were telling me that we needed to look at this concept of the new earth again. But before we get into that, I just want to say thank you again for coming by and spending some time with me. And please remember to subscribe and link, check all those boxes. What are you supposed to, the like, the share, and comment. I love your comments, and I do read them all, and I do comment and reply to many. So please do that. And also, as a reminder that I actually will be doing another Ascension Wisdom class, which I run fortnightly locally. And it's a great opportunity to do really self-discovery work and peel off and really get down into the innate of self, which is what is needed for us to actually live in a new earth environment. And lastly, what I wanted to just mention is the New Earth Community Zoom gatherings, which are free, and the link to the registration for that is also, all these links are in the description box below the video. And the next one for the Zoom session will be Monday, July the 13th. Okay, so let's have a look and see. Oh, yes, and something else. Please stay with me till the end, because the council has actually offered us a beautiful prayer at the end of this video to really integrate what we're talking about. So let's look at the subject matter today, okay? New Earth is not a destination, it is a choice. Well, when that was I was woken up with that a couple of mornings ago, I went, okay, this looks like an interesting subject to be discussing. And so what came through, and I really want you to listen to this very carefully and feel it, because this is such a truth that most people on this path are not seeing, feeling, knowing. And this is it. The new earth does not begin when the world changes. It begins the moment you, me, choose to live differently within the world that already exists. Now I'm going to say that again, because it is so powerful and so truthful when we really get it, okay? So the new earth does not begin when the world changes, the world outside. It begins the moment you choose, I choose, to live differently within the world that already exists. So what I'm going to be talking to you about this morning, well, or whatever time that you're watching this, is to really get us to understand that it's not about waiting for a soul of flesh to allow us to then suddenly live better. It's not about, having disclosures that there are other beings in the universe other than us, right? I mean, really, what an idea that there isn't. And also, or even disclosures about all the things that so many humans have done wrong in the past, and that our history isn't what we thought it was, and all that stuff, which, in the vernacular, I usually would call crap, but I'm trying to be really nice this morning. It is so important to recognize that none of those things matter. Well, okay, I can't ever say anything that isn't true, because they do matter. They matter from the perspective that they are a contrast for us to push against, to decide we no longer want to live with that as something that is controlling us, leading us, taking us away from who we truly are. So my question this morning to you is, what is the new earth for you? Why are you doing this spiritual work? Because you wouldn't be on my channel if you haven't been already working on yourself. And I applaud you and I love you because you are one of me, and we are the people we have been waiting for. So what is a new earth for you? What do you think is going to be different? When we say, what if you woke up in the morning and suddenly you're told, well, you're on the new earth now? What do you think you would see? What do you think? How do you think you would feel? What do you think the new earth really is? I mean, I've been shown, for 40 years what this is all about. But I really want all of us, I want us to examine it right here, right now. I always ask the people I work with, my students, my clients, when they say they want something that they don't have. And my question is always, how would you be different if it was presented to you right now? How will I know when you actually have what you say you want? How will you be different? You know that old saying of fake it till you make it. Oh, I love that one, okay? Well, I don't really believe in the word fake. I think become what you're asking for. And we've learned that is the truth. That is what we're all supposed to be doing, is becoming that which we want, becoming it frequentially, energetically, in our heart and in our soul. So what is the new earth for you? What would you have in the new earth that you don't have now? Who would you be in a new earth that you're not now? That is the question today. So let's have a really good look at that. So I believe that you can live in the new earth right now by choice, by being everything that you think you're going to be when you are in the new earth. But if you think that the new earth is going to provide things for you that you cannot provide for yourself now, then I think on a slightly distorted path, I suppose is the word that I'll use, and I'll ask counsel to clarify that too. So what does New Earth actually look like for you? It's not a list of rules. We have been indoctrinated and programmed, conditioned to live by rules. I've always been a rule breaker, so I've never been able to live by rules. You may give me a rule and I'll find a way that I can do it differently. That's just something in me, a bit of a rebel, so to speak. But let's have a look at what choices that we have to make to actually be living in a new earth frequency. Because what we have learned is that this new earth is just a different level of consciousness. It's a different frequency. It's a different, what I call, it has different fabric to work with to create our reality. So what in me do I need to take away from the old way of living in my programmed subconscious that will take me then into the experience of what I am hoping or was hoping that the new earth would be? Okay, so let's have a look. I've made a bit of a list, or council gave me a bit of a list, and it says, for me, the most important thing that I have chosen all along is peace. And peace over reaction, peace over conflict, peace over anything. It's the only way. Well, having lived through 2 wars before I was 12, my early childhood was not exactly love and joy and all of that, although my parents were incredibly loving and supportive and protective. The outside world to me was horror, 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 just aggression and people just, not a place that the innate of me, which is a very, very old soul of peace and love and harmony, I couldn't accommodate it at all, not at all. So peace is paramount for me. I live in peace. I live in a peaceful environment. I create peace within myself. That is the first thing. I need to find peace within myself, because when you are in a place of peace within yourself, then your nervous system can relax. It can just go, oh, this is a nice place, we'll sit here. But if you're always striving and driving, and you're always going into the next rule, which is compassion over judgment, if we are so conditioned to look through the lens of right and wrong, good and bad, when you eliminate that out of your consciousness and look at everything through the lens of what is this offering me, how else can I become more of who I choose to be, compassionate, loving, caring, then you can drop the judgment, because you can see that everyone on this planet is on their own path, their own soul journey. So leave them alone, love them. If they want you to support them, then absolutely embrace that. But do not see that people are wrong because they're not like you, or they don't believe in the same thing as you do, or they don't like the same food that you do, they don't wear the same clothes that you, they don't have the same color skin. Well, that one really blows my mind. It is so ludicrous. However, okay, we are now stepping into becoming new earth beings. Because if we want to live in the new earth, we need to become new earth beings. And the minute that we do that, we are already in the new earth. So, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Well, it's never been answered. But what I know to be true is that the more that I embrace all that I believe a higher frequency is, and you can feel that in every cell of your body, then the more in the new earth that I am living. So another huge one is accountability and responsibility rather than blame. And gosh, we are being pulled into blame all the time. It's the government's fault, it's the bank's fault, it's the medical profession's fault, it's at this fault, it's at that fault. And every time we point the finger at somebody, remember that 3 fingers are pointing back at you. And so accept the accountability of this human experience and live it to the best of your ability within your own level of consciousness, and let the world get on with it. Because the more that we create love, peace, harmony, and well-being for all in our projection of frequency, the less power all the others that are not on that path can have over us. So, okay, so what's another thing? Oh, don't you like that? This one has got us trapped for eons, and that is fear. So let go of fear, because the more that you get to know who you truly are as a divine expression of creation, not creator, because that takes you to an old program that there is, a God or something up there. But there is a power of creation that creates everything, and it has created me, and it's created you. And therefore, it is so wonderful, because when you know that you are a creation of the all that is, then wouldn't you love that? You go, wow, how amazing is it? And then why was I created? Why did this source of all things decide to create a me? Well, I want to find out. But what I know is that I also, by being a creation, I have a direct line to that creation. And I am fueled, and I have within me the power of creation, because it's what birthed me. So fear is such an immobilizer, isn't it? A paralyzer. Come home to knowing who you are. Call in that power of creation. Call in your oversoul, your soul, your guides, you came with a huge team of unseen beings. The angelics are here to protect you. But we're so busy worrying about doing the right thing by somebody else's standards. Do the right thing by your heart and soul, not by what's been programmed in there. it's just so, so wonderful when you can actually step out of the need to follow somebody else's directions other than what's in here. And it's about listening, listening. Just stop watching the outside world, even with me. When you're watching this, feel the words I speak within you, not up here. Do not analyze. Just come into your heart and soul, and you will feel, you know, a what would I call it? Can you give me a word, Council, please? Um, an alignment. You'll feel an alignment, a resonance of what fits into your cell structure, into your uh, construct of frequency at this moment. Okay, and then one of the most amazing ones that I battled with for years and years and years, and that is to change lack by being grateful. Well, gratitude has always been really a foundation that I have turned to every time that I felt that I was falling into a dip. And if you want to know about, the ebb and flow of life, then that is last week's video. Please, you can go back and watch that again. But lack was my biggest lesson. I was constantly thinking, and it was financial lack, and yet I always had what I needed. Well, almost always, because I would get myself into such a state that I always thought it was going to run out. Anyway. That all came from a belief system that was imprinted into my, subconscious by what I saw in the world. Having now overcome that, and what was really wonderful for me was because having almost nothing, well, having nothing that we're used to now in the first, 5 years of my life, and then suddenly I had some things, and then, another war, and then so I really didn't have a lot, if I compared it to others. But what I did have was a mother who was, no matter what was happening on the outside, she was grateful for every tiny little thing. So she imprinted that upon my soul, that particularly for food, because we had almost no food in the first 5 years of my life. And so anything that came on our plate, it was like, we had to be just so grateful for, and we could never leave anything on our plate. That was a long time. To get over that was a long time. But getting over the fear of lack, wow. And if you feel that it's still in you, please replace it with gratitude. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude for what you have, and gratitude for the gift of life. And then tune into your soul and surrender and go, if I am, this is always what I've said, if I am to fulfill the purpose for this incarnation, and if I am to reach this experience of living in a new earth consciousness, then show me the way. And I'm so grateful for the journey, but if I'm in lack, I don't have any space to do that. So call in and remember that we are the creators of our reality. Call in your creation and project, because everyone within themselves, you are so amazingly beautiful and so talented. We all came with an encoding of something special that you can present in service and draw abundance to you. All right, the other thing is, and it's something that I learned a long time ago, I've had about 7 different incarnations in this incarnation, and what I mean is 7 different professions, and one of them was a tourism consultant to local businesses or regional businesses. And one of the things that I always told them, use cooperation over competition. When you work together and you complement each other's services, you have far more visibility and power in the marketplace than if you are opposing each other. And this is what's, of course, so wrong with the way that we're governed. because they're always in opposition. And when you're in opposition, there's just clashing and there's absolutely no forward movement. But if everyone cooperated for the one common goal, then there would be flow. So again, cooperation over competition. Yes, friendly competition, is lovely in a game, but not if you become obsessed by it. Just realize, hey, you win some, you lose some. All we need to do is learn to be the best we can in the moment. And you can't be the best. Well, you're always the best in every moment, but they're not always the same, are they? Because if you've had a tiring experience, then you haven't got as much energy as you had yesterday when you'd had a good sleep. So we have to be much more kind with ourselves and that is a huge thing in this, new earth experience is kindness. The innate of the human is to be kind to ourselves, to each other, to be supportive, to be caring. And there you go, the most important part of this level of consciousness is choosing love. Even when life feels uncertain and everything around you does not feel loving, can you turn to love? Can you be forgiving? Can you look at people and go, well, I'm glad I'm not having to live that experience, but I'm sending them so much love and compassion. And if I can ever be of any service, then they need to ask me. But in the meantime, I just need to keep focus on the love. Love is the power of life. It is what is the fundamental ingredient of creation. And you know how we know that? I don't know about you, but I'm a bit of a plant person. I love my flora and fauna. I'm surrounded by green wherever I go. So many plants. I love growing not roses. I'm not a rose person. I'm not good with them. But I love orchids. They were my mum's favourite. So I love all kinds of orchids. And you know that we know that when we play beautiful music to plants, when we talk to them and nurture them, they flourish. Somebody used to say to me, "You fondle your plants," and I'm going, "Yes, I do. I stroke them, and sometimes I even kiss the leaves, and I go, 'Thank you for being so beautiful for me.'" That is the love of creation. And they go, "Oh, anytime, I will just grow another beautiful blossom," or whatever they're going to do. So we need to become everything that we think the new earth is going to offer us. Because the new earth, whatever you want to call that frequency, exists as, I guess, the carrot at the end of the donkey's nose, but that doesn't work because that means we never get the carrot. But we do. We can step into the new earth any moment we choose. We have that power within us. I would love you to comment if this resonates with you. And mostly, I would like to hear from you. What experiences have you had when you have stepped into a different frequency? Excuse me, isn't this interesting? One of the things that I know to be true, I've got to have a drink of water. Now, before I actually went to do this video, my intuition said you're going to need water at some stage. Excuse me. And they were right. And what does it tell me about me and about what's going on? That soul knows ahead of time what you need. And when you can let go and surrender to that power and you listen, I heard soul. I put myself a glass of water, and I don't usually do that. So this is just a really plain, practical, because I'm very grounded and practical, a practical demonstration of when we listen. When we listen, how often are you driving somewhere and you get, no, don't go that way, go that way. And if you override that because you think your way is better because it's fast, you could come to grief. So, again, please let me know. When have you stepped out of the old earth by choice and stepped into what you would like the new earth to be? So, if I've given you anything today in this video, I'm hoping that I've given you an inspiration to sit down and I think journal it and sit down and go, okay, so what does the new earth look like to me? And what would I need to change in me to be able to experience that now? Because that's what this is all about. We can experience New Earth anytime we like. I live in that space most of the time. Most of the time. And it is just a place of peace, love, harmony, compassion, and most of all, allowing other people to live their journey. We are so busy wanting people to be different because they don't fit in with what we'd like them to be. Can we just sit back and just observe them with love and go, wow, okay, so that's where you're at the moment. I'll just send you love and whatever. And really have the discernment that when you are in a space where the frequency isn't resonating with you, don't blame somebody for it. Just go, oh, okay, it's time for me to go. Obviously, something has shifted here and it's not supporting my resonance. So I say goodbye with love and move on. But we can just do that because the new earth is a place of transparency. So the more that we work on ourselves and the more that we become our innate authentic self, the more we respond to the outside world through energy. For me, that is how the lens that I relate to the world with energetically. It either feels good or it doesn't feel good. And it is such a beautiful way to live. There is no pushing or shoving, there is just being. So please know who you are. You are so much more than you think. But you are not half as much yet as what you feel. There's so much more in there to discover, uncover, and then live unapologetically out there in this world. And so I would like to take us back to that first statement when we first began this video. Remember it? The new earth does not begin when the world changes. So stop looking for someone to change the world or something to change the world, thinking that, oh, when the extraterrestrials land, that's when they're going to bring new earth. No, they're not. It doesn't begin when the governments change. No, that won't change anything. It doesn't, nothing is going to bring the new earth to you from the outside world that exists. You and I are going to bring the new earth to them by being it. Remember, it begins the moment you choose. I choose to live differently within the world that already exists. And that means we have to continue to do the work, do the work, do the work. There is no end to doing the work because there's no end to discovering who we truly are and then to implement that in the highest possible way into a new earth consciousness and frequency. Wow, that is a powerful message today. And what Council has offered us in closing is a prayer. So I'd like you to just take a deep breath. And the best way for this is to just put your hands on your heart. And if you want to close your eyes, you can, but you don't have to. This is a prayer for us to really integrate this knowing that the new earth lives within us. It doesn't live out there until we create it out there as well as in here. So let's just come together in this prayer. Thank you for the gift of this human journey, for every opportunity to choose love over fear, peace over reaction, and discernment over distraction. Thank you to the source of all life, our soul, our guides, the angelics, and to all those who walk beside us, seen and unseen. May we continue to remember who we truly are and carry that remembrance into every thought, every word, and every action. With love, gratitude, and trust, we walk together as creators of a new earth, one conscious choice at a time. In gratitude, I am, and so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow, that was a pretty powerful message, wasn't it? Let me know how you feel. Let me know in the comments. I just love reading your comments because, you know, as I always say, I'm sitting here looking into a camera and hoping that someone out there is watching me. And it's only when you comment or when you like and subscribe that I know that there's somebody out there. So, we are the people we've been waiting for. So let us together become the new earth. As always, I love you. Thank you for being here with me. And until we meet again, have a wonderful, wonderful new earth experience.